is that the biologist Claudia Lombard? What are you guys doing here?
Hey there.
Guys, we're trying to find some birds, and we're having trouble identifying species for our scavenger hunt. We were just wondering what you were doing out
I suspect that myself and my friend Bjorn can probably help you identify the birds out here, because we've spent the last hour and a half searching for birds around the waterfront and out on the pier. So we might just be what you're looking for.
But why are you guys doing this today?
Well, today we're celebrating, and yesterday, and all week, and in fact all year, we're celebrating Earth Day. And today the St. Croix Environmental Association is doing a Bioblitz. So we're in search of all the critters that inhabit St. Croix, and our focus is birds this morning.
Awesome. So you guys were doing like a survey, or what were you guys doing out here?
We were doing a survey.
Okay.
Yep. And we have how many species? Let me look at my handy. Every good biologist needs a pair of binoculars and a field book and field guides, which our friends here have birds of the West Indies. Okay, so
That's
this
what we
morning,
need.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've had 8 different species,
8 species.
not including our chickens. There's still plenty of chickens.
Make sure you have your pen, Kelsey, so you mark these down in our Bioblitz booklet.
Okay, would you like us to list off
Yeah,
the species?
we'd love to hear so we can mark these off on our scavenger hunt.
Bjorn, what terns did you see? Very good. Bjorn was very hungry this morning, so he's really remembering the sandwich tern. And sandwich terns we saw 10. And we actually saw royals, but not least. We didn't talk about this because it is least tern season. And we've seen our first least terns around the island. They migrate all the way from South America up to St. Croix and all the way up the east coast of the United States. So they're here and they'll begin nesting soon. But our
Cool.
royal terns, we saw 18.
18.
18. Do you want me to keep going with our numbers?
Yeah, tell
Yes,
us all.
all right.
Tell us everything you saw.
How many brown pelicans? 4 at the beginning, and then we saw more, so I think we have a total of 8. And we were telling the difference between adults and juveniles. What is that, Bjorn? Do you remember the difference between the adults and the juveniles?
Adults have like white and the juveniles don't,
Right. Mostly brown, uniformly brown. Good.
so that they can't get
That's right. Lots of young birds, they don't want bright colors because they want to stay safe in the nest. And when they leave the nest, they want to stay safe too because they're just learning to catch food and fly. All right, we saw some doves and pigeons. So we saw Zenata doves, and 3 of those. We saw scaly-nape pigeon, just one of those, and it flushed, which means it flew away because a big orange cat came close by.
Aw, man.
So anybody with cats, it's best to keep your cats indoors because they absolutely decimate bird populations. Yes.
Cats.
Okay, we saw gray kingbirds. How many of those?
2.
2. A name that some people use here in St. Croix is beautiful. I love to say it, chichiri.
Chichiri.
And it's the noise the bird makes as it's flying through the sky. Chichiri, chichiri. Okay, and we said scaly-nape one, and then we did see one shorebird. One shorebird, and that was the ruddy turnstone.
At the end of the dock?
There was one right here on the
Oh,
rocks,
okay.
and then one mid-dock.
Yeah.
And Bjorn, why are they called turnstones?
Because they'll like turn over stones to find bugs and stuff to eat.
Wow, that's a good way to remember that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that's our list so far.
Well, where did you guys find all of these? Did you go along the pier? Did you go over along the waterfront? I was telling Kelsey that you have to go into the bush to find nature, but she reminded me you can find nature everywhere.
Oh, that's a lovely way to say it. Right, nature is everywhere. Well, we wanted to do more, but we had so much fun right here with all of these laughing gulls. Oh, I forgot laughing gulls.
Yeah,
We saw 3 laughing gulls. They just arrived to the island of St. Croix. And you know them by the noise they make on the the count of 3, let's all do it. Ready, Sophie?
Ready.
1, 2, 3.
LOL.
So to go birding, yeah, you can see birds anywhere. If you're in a city, you can find them on the streets. You can find them in the few trees that are around. Here in St. Croix, I would have loved to spend more time in the forest doing some birding, but you know, all we had time for today was walking out on the pier, and our entire time was filled with birds. We didn't have to search, really. They came to us.
How neat.
Yeah.
Well, I have some more questions though, because I don't know anything about birds.
Okay.
So if I want to learn to ID birds, how do I do that? What tools do I need? I guess I need binoculars. Like, what's the best way to learn? Do I go out and look?
That's a really good start. Binoculars are helpful.
Okay.
Because to identify birds, you really have to get a close look. And
Right.
of course, birds usually don't come close to you.
And they move.
And they move, that's right. So binoculars help, and timing helps. You need to be a morning person. So
Man.
getting up at the sunrise is the best time to be birding, because that's when birds are most active. Especially here in the tropics, it's so hot that midday, birds are tucked away, kind of hiding from the heat. They're out in the morning singing, foraging. It's the best time to be out there. And a good ID book. So we've got one over here. I also have in my pack here a couple sheets that have our more common birds. And here we have Birds of the West Indies, okay, by Herb Raphael. Fantastic book for birding here in St. Croix. And we have some nice little sheets that Jen has.
Oh. We have some of these at St. Croix Environmental. If you ever are interested, you can come by our office and let us know, or we can even send you a copy of this. These are great for helping all of the shorebirds that look almost all exactly the same.
Awesome.
But then there was something else, Jen, you were telling me about in the office when I was using the booklet, but then I couldn't find all of the different details I needed to ID some different things. You're talking about something like iNatchez?
Yeah.
Some sort of like phone application?
Yeah, so you know, Claudia and I are a little bit old school. We like our books. You know, we have our paper. But you know, if you have a phone, you can actually learn to ID your birds pretty easily. There's a great app called iNaturalist, where you just, if you download the app, you take a picture of it, and if you know what it is, you can say, I think it's a scalionate pigeon. But if you don't know what it is, you can just post a picture, and the whole community of iNaturalist will help you identify it. Or you can use, there's lots of great websites for birds and for plants, all about birds. There's an app called Merlin ID that I use all the time. I've been birding for a long time, and I still don't know what half the things are. And if I go somewhere new, I don't know what any of them are. And so the Merlin, it's just like using your phone is such a great, and it's something we have all the time, so we don't have to carry a backpack full of ID books. Because what if you want to ID the birds, but also the plants, and also the lizards, and also the frogs, and also the bats, and all the other